Joining us from our Abuja studio is the chairman of the All Progressive Democratic Alliance, APDA, Kabir Shitu. Good morning. It's good to have you join us now.
Good morning.
Okay, let's begin this way. The National Economic Council, NEC, is coming up with a resolution to ban grazing or open grazing in several states in the country. Now, a lot of Nigerians are asking, why now? Because killings have been going on for quite a while. Why did it take so long for this kind of a decision to be taken?
For us, first of all, I want to commend the National Economic Council for taking this decision. But I will also urge them that we should now look at Bayelsa's example. Because in Bayelsa, I'm the chairman of Bayelsa Cattle Ranch Committee. And what we did since 2015 is to say, look, the state put up committee where you have the chairman, which I'm the chairman, then you have the vice chairman of the traditional council as member, you have the security organ, that's the director XSS, the commandant of NSDC, all security organs in the state as member of that committee. Then we look at the youth of the state also as members of the committee. And the governor of Bayelsa set up this, gave 1,200 hectares as a grazing zone. And in this grazing zone, we are able to plant grasses in that. So immediately, and then you also have abattoir, a modern abattoir in that grazing zone. And then any Fulani man or anybody carrying cow, as you enter Bayelsa, they direct you to the grazing zone. And before you even get access there, they take your number, take your picture, and make sure that you sign some undertaking. Then there are certain fees that you pay so that your cow can graze within those grasses that we have planted. So each state can take this example home, where they turn grazing into money-making venture, and take the state youths to be the custodian of that grazing. I think people misunderstood what grazing is all about. Grazing does not mean it has to be a Fulani man, no. Today in Bayelsa, after taking statistics of the cows that are roaming in Bayelsa, we found out that 60% of those cows belong to the citizens of Bayelsa State. And even the senior echelons of Bayelsa citizens. And so also in each state, if you go and look, those people moving with the cow are just, you find out that they are not the owners. The owners are the indigenes or the citizens of that state. So in order to curb this, we should now change from looking at a grazing as a Fulani affair, than now taking grazing as an affair of the citizen of each state. Let the youth of that state manage the cattle ranch that they are going to open, and then also plant grass. And when anybody brings his cow for rearing there, he pays certain amount of money. You have abattoir, modern abattoir, where you can also even export meat. And then we are also encouraging that skin and hide industry should be sited in those grazing zones in the states, so that the youth can also get job.
Okay, Alhaji Kabir,
you have such, they can also even export all these products outside Nigeria, and it will help us.
Very interesting points you make there as to the economic value of ranching. But there are states, including the states that are most affected by these herdsmen killings, that are afraid that, you know, the issue of ranching is another way of forcefully giving land, ancestral lands, to outsiders to the Fulani herdsman, you know, in their mind. So how do you begin to even allay their fears? And the NEC, the Economic Council, has actually identified 3 categories of herdsmen: foreign, nomadic, and of course migrant herdsmen. So how do you allay the fears of those states and Nigerians, as a matter of fact, who think that their land, you know, is about to be forcefully grabbed?
We call a town hall meeting, and we let them know that this land belongs to the state. This land belongs to the citizen of the Bayelsa, and that
of the Bayelsans, and that they only come to grace, pay, even the youth will get job, we make youth to plant grasses, and they owns the place. As you come, they are the one to give you receipt. As we are talking with you, Ngozi, you find out that there's what we call Sango in Ibadan, Sango in Enugu, Sango in various parts of Nigeria. Has that make that Sango belonging to the Hausa community or the Fulani community? The answer to you is no. Those you call Sango belong to the Ibadan people. Where you call Sango in Lagos belong to Lagos people. Where you call in various areas in Enugu, you have part, all these, they belong to the citizen. So as soon as we turn grazing into business and people see that they make money out of it, the issue of Fulani is out. The issue, because one, it guarantees security. As you are coming in with your cow, either from Mauritania, either from Mali, either from anywhere, the first point of call is that grazing reserve in the state. As you get to that ranch in the state, you register, they take your picture, they take your biodata, so they know where you are coming from, they know what are you doing inside there, and when you are moving out, you also register that I'm moving out. It's very, it will create security awareness in the mind of the citizen. Immediately they see the people coming. It's not only Fulani that are rearing a cow. Every tribe rear cow. Every tribe rear sheep. Every tribe rear goat. If you are not rearing goat, you'll be rearing sheep, you'll be rearing. So it's not just for cow. But I want to urge Nigerians that we should turn this into economic value. There are countries that they just depend on this.
Yeah.
Like Botswana. Botswana does not have oil, they don't have anything.
Yes,
they depend on grazing, they depend on cow, they export meat, they export milk, they export various, they even, so why are we as a country not turn this to our advantage?
Yes, Alhaji Shitu, let me interrupt you here a little bit. It sounds really nice, and it's good what is going on in Bayelsa. The understanding between the state government and the locals and even those who are coming to graze, it's a beautiful one. But the situation in Bayelsa is totally different from what is going on in Benue or going on in Taraba State and even in Zamfara State and some other states in the Middle Belt. Now, when the NEC is saying we are banning open grazing and then urging the states to create room for, to create grazing zones and ranches, as the case may be, I wonder how ready the people are, because Ngozi asked a question earlier on, which you didn't touch really. When it comes to the trust and confidence, some people feel that their land is being grabbed technically. Take it away from Bayelsa, where you are the chairman of the cattle, those rearing cattle there. Take it to Benue, for instance, or even in Taraba State. Do you think the people there have confidence in the government telling them to cede their land for those who want to rear cattle?
I'm no more here.
Okay. It looks like Alhaji
All right,
did not
it's
hear
in the
your
line.
question, maybe.
All right, but we can hear you saying I'm no more hearing.
Okay.
Can you confirm that you can hear me now so I can just summarize the question to you?
I want you to note.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want you to note that until you enlighten citizens, you cannot get it right. Citizens must see the value they are going to derive. And you must, until we remove, irrespective of your political affiliation, until Nigerians believe that we must, because we are growing every day from maybe 20 million in 1950 to now 198 million. How do we feed ourselves? Is the question that we have to ask. But we are so blessed that we have green, we have various areas. And if grazing should now not be taken as Fulani affair, I think our government should rise to enlighten citizens that this is a business. In the 70s, the colonial masters established grazing reserves in various areas. Is it in Wase? Is it in Mokwa? Is it in various areas? Chief Obafemi Awolowo also even established all these ranches at that time in the southwest. So I see no reason why it should be a thing of but enlightenment. We must enlighten the citizens. And that is why I say copy from Bayelsa, irrespective of his political affiliation, or the copy from them, get there. Because when you have traditional ruler in the committee, you have the head of the youth in that committee, you have security organs in that committee. The traditional rulers will go back to their villages and enlighten them. The youth who have seen opportunity will also enlighten their youth in the state to say, look, don't take arm. We can gain from this project. And then you can, when you also involve the security organs, they will be able to direct people to that ranches. And ranches is a business. It's not even that.
Yeah, that's the point you have underscored very well.
Of the state.
Let's
assume in Benue today.
Yeah.
If you are able to put a grazing reserve or ranches in Benue state, it belongs to people of Benue. Let's assume you go to Vandikia and you put grazing and ranches in Vandikia. The youth of that Vandikia owns that. They make life out of it because it is the youth that will plant those grasses there.
All right,
okay.
Kabir
It's the
Shitu.
youth that will put the
Alhaji Shitu, we have to leave you here now.
Alhaji Shitu obviously cannot hear us, but very interesting suggestions there. He's saying it has worked in Bayelsa, and that is a template that really should be applied in every other part of the country. Alhaji Shitu, of course, is the chairman All Progressive Democratic Alliance, APDA, joining us from Abuja studio. Thank you very much for being there for us.